So great to be here this morning. And for the sake of time, let's jump right in. Dirk, maybe you can, to get started, tell us a little bit about Customcells and what you're up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much. Good morning, everybody. So Customcells is in battery innovation now for more than 10 years. Actually, we brought a few numbers just to give a little bit of an overview. So we're exactly at the sweet spot where innovation meets industrialization. So that's what we're set up for. So bring new materials, new technology actually in battery manufacturing and at scale. And we're focusing very much on the premium market. So everything you can't buy out of the shelf from the big ones like CATL, Panasonic, Northvolt, etc. So that's what we're set up for.
Great. Now, electrification is obviously one of the mega trends we're currently experiencing. What are the segments that excite you most, or where you feel Customcells is actually sort of well positioned?
Yeah, so we are targeting, as I just mentioned, the premium market. So the premium market is something which is driven usually by performance or by performance, key performance index indices. And we've got usually kind of customers which are looking for a certain specific, requirements, something which is not kind of out of the shelf standard automotive cell, etc., but something which differentiates their product, which provides something like a cutting edge. And these customers usually are willing, for example, to pay a certain price on top, so they have got a lower price sensitivity usually, and that obviously provides a certain market of diverse customers, so it's different industry sectors, and they have got a specific requirement, so something the big companies actually can't cater, can't supply, and that actually differentiates, and there's a willingness to pay for this differentiation.
So, I mean, as investors, we obviously also are interested in the overall market size, and we conducted there was a recent study done with McKinsey on the overall market size of these premium markets, and that was actually sort of they arrived at 180 gigawatt hours for 2035, I believe. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on the drivers there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been carefully looking at the battery premium market. That's something which actually didn't exist until a certain point in time, where we realized, okay, not everybody will be served by CATL, Northvolt, and all the others. Yeah, and we realized, okay, well, what is the market size? So we asked a renowned company, McKinsey, actually kind of to have a look at this in particular and to see in size how large is this market going to be. And it grows. We've got actually some detailed numbers in our pitch in 1 hour from now. And then overall, the market size is something like 180 gigawatt hours. So it's not a niche. It's a very sizable premium market on the one side. So then what we realized then afterwards was, okay, so what's driving this market? And it's very, very simple. Everybody knows automotive, and that automotive is undergoing the electrification wave somewhere. It might be earlier or later, but electrification is going to come because it's driven by regulation, and it's something we need to do. And well, exactly the same thing applies to every other industry as well. Everybody needs to decarbonize this, and it doesn't matter whether it's mining, whether it's heavy duty, whether it's aviation, whether it's defense, or whether it's medical. Every industry needs to undergo the decarbonization. And some of them already are, right there, like automotive is, exactly at the edge. Some scale is already here, some scale is coming. Aviation is not yet there, but you see all of them need to undergo a decarbonization. And especially when they enter this stage, they usually need something like, a first mover differentiating factor. And that's exactly where we come into play. And especially for the first 1 to 10 gigawatt hours in these industries are the ones where they've got a certain willingness to pay. That's a premium market in terms of pricing, in terms of performance, and that's where we're positioned.
Great, thanks. Now, when you say you're a battery manufacturer, you're probably not the first one that comes to mind. I mean, speaking of the Northvolts of this world, how do you compare yourself to the existing cell manufacturers that have been around for some time now?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, the typical question investors tend to ask is, okay, well, if that market is, so interesting. Why don't the big ones go there? And there's a very simple answer to this. The big ones are simply operating at a very, very much larger scale. So they usually build a single factory in the order of magnitude of 40, 80, or 100 gigawatt hours of scale. So that's absolutely huge, yeah? And the products are, very simply speaking, a standardized product which needs to fit exactly what the customer needs, but it doesn't. Yeah, so these big ones are simply not set up to meet certain specific performance criteria. Just think about something like, for example, safety in aviation. Think about medical requirements. Think about high performance if you'd like to differentiate an automotive market as a Ferrari or as a Porsche. All of that is what the large ones simply can't supply. They're simply not set up for this. They're set up for large scale at very thin margins usually. And we actually do the opposite. And on the other hand side, if you move to the innovative players, how do we differentiate? It's very, very simple there too. All of these players usually differentiate by just, doing R&D, and they just can provide a handful of samples, maybe 100, maybe 1,000 or 10,000 cells, and that's it. But none of them really has got the capability to really do the manufacturing development, so the development of the manufacturing procedures for especially mass scale. So we have got a defendable moat towards the big ones by just differentiation in terms of content and capability to do very high performance, and we've got a very clear differentiator towards the R&D players. And as a result, you just mentioned the study from McKinsey, and that's exactly the result. We've got an underserved market. So 110 gigawatt hours annual capacity out of the 180. So the majority of it is foreseen to be underserved. So it's an underserved market. It's very profitable and it's very sizable.
Great. So maybe you can spend one more minute also on elaborating a little bit more on how you differentiate yourself from a technology perspective, from a production perspective, from the ability to scale compared to others.
Yeah, I guess the key to get into this is you need to do something differently than the big ones do. Otherwise, you don't create this, unique opportunity. And the key thing actually we have put in place is our so-called modular cell kit. So it's a set of technologies, of battery technologies, and comprising, on the one hand side, battery cell technology, but also especially manufacturing technology. Yeah? How, for example, build very high performance materials, how to get this connected to the copper and aluminum foils, etc., etc. And that exactly is a set of things which is flexibly combinable. So you can pick one or the other, and that simply allows us to have one common base technology, which is something, say, a complexity we can easily manage. And at the same point in time, we can reach out to very many diverse different customers, in different industry sectors and provide different KPIs. Yeah, so it's low complexity for us, but a pretty broad portfolio of technologies, but all of them are very high performance. So this modular cell kit finally allows us to address a very diverse also to market, and also to provide obviously some diversification into our risk. Yeah, so our business case is broadly spread across different industry sectors, across different players, etc. And at the same point in time, we've got a very low complexity in terms of logistics, in terms of technology. So that, I guess, is the key thing.
Great. So I think that was an excellent, rapid overview of Customcells, and that leaves us with doing some advertising for your session later on in about an hour's time.
Yeah, thanks very much. So I take the opportunity to simply invite you. Here's some key figures you see. So Customcells actually has raised so far 75 million. We're up for a new round, Series B ongoing, 60 million. That's what we're going to raise. You see we're post revenue, so we're currently creating 30 million annual revenues. Have got a history of 500 customers. We mentioned this a couple of times. Serviceable market in 2035 is 180 gigawatt hours. And if you have a look to the right end, then you usually see we've got a large portfolio on the right top of very well established OEMs, suppliers, mainly in mobility. That's where we come from, for a very simple reason. They've been the very first ones asking for differentiated products in electrification. And they ask, okay, what's new? What can differentiate from our competitors? Starting from very high performance-driven candidates, you see it on the very bottom. So Formula One is one of our customers. Might look small, and it is indeed, but they've been perfect leads actually for industrial applications. So if you've seen a couple of applications, let me just give you one example. So when we actually elaborated outstanding battery technology for Formula One, the follow-up business actually was in mining. because they saw a very high performant, very high cycle stable technology. They didn't look too much after energy density, but power density and cycle stability was the top criteria, which exactly matches with Formula One. And while Lilium, I guess, is a self-explaining example, just to bring the airplane up needs lots of power density, etc. It's an outstanding performance, and you see a couple of players in there. Chrysler might not be that well known, but I guess you know John Deere behind. So that's exactly, you see the broad portfolio of customers we have in our pocket currently. So be invited and use the opportunity to have some more details at our detailed pitch in 1 hour. Thanks very much.
Thank you.